He had only known her for 2 weeks, but in his mind, she had already become everything. When she pulled away, he didn't see rejection, he saw betrayal. To him, she wasn't just a roommate. At some point, something changed. So what happened that day, inside the campus cafe? Why would someone bring a weapon into a place like that? Was it anger or something else? Hi everyone, welcome back. I'm Leah. Today's story is about Zhu Haiyang. He was a bright student studying at Virginia Tech in the United States. But after a short encounter, things started to go wrong. It ended in a murder on campus that many people still remember today. It was January 21st, 2009, at a campus cafe at Virginia Tech. It seemed like just another ordinary afternoon. Students were chatting, eating, and the air smelled like coffee and fresh bread. No one thought anything would happen, but that calm didn't last. Then people started screaming. Panic spread through the cafe. Cups and plates crashed to the floor. At 7:06 p.m., police received a call. A woman had been attacked at a restaurant in the Graduate Life Center on the campus of Virginia Tech. Just 4 minutes later, officers arrived. What they found was chaos. 22-year-old Yang Xin was found on the ground. Her classmate, Zhu Haiyang, stood nearby. Didn't say a word, no reaction, no expression, just nothing. According to 7 witnesses, just moments before the attack, 2 of them were sitting together, quietly talking. There was no argument, no sign of any problem. No one understood what changed, what made this quiet student suddenly pull out a knife and attack the girl sitting across from him. At 7:44 p.m. that evening, the school issued its first emergency alert. Virginia Tech police confirmed a homicide at the Life Center. Suspect is in custody. Remain where you are. Stay safe. Avoid the Life Center area. Less than an hour later, a second alert followed. The suspect has been secured. Please avoid the Life Center vicinity. Other areas may resume normal activities. Campus alarms went off. Police cars arrived quickly. Officers were called in. Messages were sent out. Within 40 minutes, about 14,000 students and staff received an emergency alert. The Life Center was locked down. Officers checked every classroom. The lockdown wasn't lifted until noon the next day. After 2007 campus shooting, Virginia Tech was filled with fear once again, but this time it wasn't gunfire. It was something much closer and harder to accept. Initial reports confirmed the basic facts. The suspect was Zhu Haiyang, a 25-year-old PhD student. The victim was Yang Xin, a 22-year-old graduate student. They had known each other for 13 days. In such a short time, what could have really happened? And then there was something even more unsettling. The killer had once been listed as her emergency contact. So what was really going on beneath the surface? Zhu Haiyang was born in 1984 in Ningbo, Zhejiang, China. He came from a scholarly family. His father was a university professor. His mother was a doctor. In that environment, he did very well in his studies. People saw him as smart, hardworking, and polite. In 2001, he was admitted to the School of Economics and Trade at Shanghai Ocean University. During college, he focused almost completely on his studies, especially English. From freshman year to sophomore year, he stayed at the top of his class. In his senior year, he took part in a national college English competition and won first place. He received scholarships almost every semester. His achievements were often featured on the university's news website. Outside of studying, Zhu Haiyang seemed like most people. He was kind, quiet, and humble. He didn't show off. He had friends around him, and nothing about his behavior in relationships seemed unusual. During his master's studies, his good grades and appearance also got him some attention from female classmates. In the fall of 2008, he received an acceptance letter and a scholarship from Virginia Tech. He came to the United States to pursue a PhD in agricultural economics. During his studies, he also worked as a teaching assistant for a course in agricultural marketing. When he arrived, he quickly adjusted to life there. He focused on his studies and his teaching duties. People who knew him described him as polite, attentive, and trustworthy. On the surface, he seemed like a very normal, well-performing student. But this young man and a brief encounter that lasted just 13 days would eventually lead to a tragic outcome. It naturally raised some questions. A PhD student, seen as normal and successful by those around him, why would he end up involved in something like this? And who was Yang Xin in all of this? Yang Xin was born in 1986 in Beijing, China. People who knew her described her as cheerful and full of energy. In photos, she always had a bright smile. She grew up in an ordinary family with a strong focus on discipline and education. Many of her relatives worked in education. From a young age, she grew up with clear rules and expectations around her. At 18, she went to Canada on her own and enrolled at the Memorial University of Newfoundland. In her final semester, she even took 6 courses at the same time, so she could graduate earlier. To ease the pressure on her parents, she worked 2 on-campus jobs at the same time. She was hardworking, smart, and always thinking ahead about her future. After graduation, she worked at a fast food restaurant and was quickly promoted to assistant manager. She passed the GMAT and later went to the United States to study at Virginia Tech, pursuing a master's in accounting. She also obtained permanent residency in Canada. Teachers remembered her as someone who completed 4 years of coursework in less than 3 years. Friends described her as outgoing and easy to get along with. She lived simply, rarely wore makeup, didn't spend much on shopping. She had plans for her future. She told friends she wanted to finish her master's, continue on to a PhD, and one day become a university professor. But that future, as it was beginning to take shape, never fully came to be. Before she went to Virginia Tech, she had already been active on a Chinese online forum for students and people living abroad. That's where she first came into contact with Zhu Haiyang. On January 8, 2009, Yang arrived in the United States. Zhu was there to pick her up. He helped her get settled, walk her through the enrollment process step by step in a place that felt completely new. He made things easier, so she trusted him. She even listed him as her emergency contact at school, right next to her mother. It was still winter break. The freshman doors weren't open yet, and Yang didn't know anyone nearby. Hotels were expensive, so Zhu offered a place to stay, his off-campus apartment. At first, it seemed like the easiest option, but after a few days, something about it didn't feel right. It wasn't comfortable, it wasn't convenient, so Yang decided to move out. Zhu didn't object. Instead, he even helped her look for a new place. Everything on the surface seemed normal. At that point, nothing looked unusual. But looking back, that quiet beginning was where everything started to shift. After Yang moved out, they were still in contact. But for Zhu, something had started to change. He began reading meaning into small things she did. Gestures, details, things most people wouldn't even notice. She had listed him as emergency contact. She had stayed at his apartment for a few days. To him, those weren't just practical choices. They meant something more, or at least that's how he saw it. Not long after their first meeting, he wrote her a letter. In it, he talked about how happy she made him feel, how beautiful he thought she was, and how much he wanted to be with her. He said he wanted to cherish her, and hoped she would become his girlfriend. During that time, Yang had become an important part of Zhu's life. A few days before the semester began, at a study gathering, Zhu broke down and opened up to her. That's when Yang told him she was engaged and about to get married. It hit him hard. He had always believed effort could get him what he wanted, but this time it didn't work. There was nothing he could do, nothing he could change. And after that, things began to fall apart for him. That night, a thought began to settle in his mind. On the morning of January 21st, Zhu went out and bought a kitchen knife, along with a couple of other items. After that, he started calling Yang over and over again, trying to reach her, trying to get her to respond. That evening, he asked to meet her again for coffee. Yang tried to refuse, but the calls didn't stop. He kept insisting. In the end, she told him what she was, planning to meet him and finally clean things up. When they sat down, the conversation seemed calm. Yang believed it would end peacefully. After all, they had only known each other for 13 days, but the calm didn't last. Without warning, Zhu pulled out a knife. What happened next was sudden and chaotic. Yang tried to protect herself, raising her arms instinctively, but she couldn't stop what was happening. Within moments, she collapsed. By the time it was over, it was already too late. Witnesses later said they saw him still standing there, holding something in his hands. When the police arrived, Zhu was still at the scene. After the incident, the story began to spread online. Discussions followed, speculation, rumors. During the investigation, police found an online account believed to be linked to Zhu Haiyang on a website called Metropolis. In one of the posts, he talked about personal struggles, including financial pressure. According to police chief Wendell Fleischman, a post from January 7th suggested he had been in a low state at the time. He mentioned thoughts about harming himself or others. The discovery quickly drew attention, and the conversation around the case kept growing. Many began to associate the case with his mental state, but soon doubts started to appear. Some questioned the authenticity of the account, whether it had been altered or even misrepresented. There were also questions about the platform itself, and whether details like timestamps or user information could have been changed. And in some online discussions, a few people even suggested that the case was being used and amplified by others for attention or traction. Meanwhile, Yang became the target of online attacks. Some posts said she acted inappropriately, and the claim spread quickly before being removed. Others went further, talking about the possible relationship between her and Zhu, and what might have happened during her short stay at his apartment. There were also posts that trying to explain the coffee shop meeting in other ways, bringing up ideas about conflict and money. Some even said she might have tried to get money from Zhu. None of this was ever confirmed, but it kept spreading online. But interviews with Yang's friends told a different story. They described her as kind, hardworking, and positive, not someone who matched the rumors online. When a woman becomes a victim, public attention often turns in a certain direction. People start asking about her behavior, her clothes, her relationships. Online, things get picked apart. People often ask what she might have done wrong instead of looking at what led to the situation in the first place. And the person involved can end up being talked about in ways she never had control over. In moments like this, it's not always easy to tell where facts end and opinions begin. After the murder, police brought in Dr. Daniel Murray, director of forensic psychology at the University of Virginia. He specialized in criminal psychology and legal responsibility, and has worked on several campus violence cases before. Over the following months, he reviewed the case through interviews and evaluations, speaking with Zhu as well as his family and people around him. His conclusion was that Zhu was legally sane and able to stand trial, but he also noted that mental health factors may have played a role in the background. There was a history of mental illness in his family, including his mother and grandmother, with signs that could fall within the schizophrenia spectrum. Combined with long-term isolation and unusual thinking patterns, it painted a more complete picture of what may have been happening over time. His landlord later said he seemed a bit strange and sometimes even hostile. He didn't want to turn on the heat, and the pipes ended up freezing and bursting. After the landlord installed the thermostat to control the temperature, Zhu would just cut the power so it wouldn't work. Over time, a pattern started to show. a strong need to be in control. By taking away even basic comfort around him, he seemed to feel more in control of his space. Liz later found that Zhu's first semester in the US hadn't gone well. He struggled with school pressure and adjusting to a new environment. By the end of the term, he was on academic probation and no longer felt confident about the PhD program. At one point, he and a friend even visited another university, looking for other options, but nothing really changed. As Dr. Murray later said, he came to the United States with a lot of hope, but by the end of that first semester, things were already falling apart. Zhu also reached out to his family. He said he wanted to quit school, and at one point mentioned thoughts about suicide. His family encouraged him to stay and try counseling, but over time he became frustrated, feeling like therapy was just talking, without real solutions. And he wasn't alone in struggle. Out of 7 students in his program, 5 were also on academic probation. But unlike others, Zhu didn't really talk about how he felt. A friend later said, he always seemed fine, he never really talked about anything negative. Over time, he kept things to himself more and more. In December 2008, he attended his friend Niden's wedding. Niden later said, he looked happy. He even asked for an extra invitation to keep. At the wedding, Zhu called the garter, a light tradition that's often seen as a sign of being next to get married. People around him didn't see anything unusual at the time. He seemed polite, normal in conversation, but over time, a different side of the story came out. During later evaluations, Dr. Murray said Zhu brought up that wedding more than once, and that it seemed to stick with him. He may have taken it more literally than most people would, Murray said, like he felt it meant something about him, that it was his turn next. After that, his focus seemed to narrow, less about how things felt, more about how things were supposed to go. When he met Yang, that idea found direction, and from there, things started to change. After the murder, Zhu was arrested and taken into custody. Not long after that, he tried to take his own life. Reports said he wanted to join Yang. He was found in time and survived. Soon after, he was diagnosed with a mental health condition and started treatment with medication. His friend Niden visited him several times while he was in custody. Niden later said, he started to open up more recently. He talks about what he is going through. I don't agree with what he did, he said, but he's still a person. I still care about him, and I will keep supporting him. Zhu was charged with first-degree murder at a preliminary hearing on March 5, 2009. He showed no emotion, sitting in handcuffs and leg shackles. He appeared calm. Later that year, in December, he pleaded guilty in court. He never explained why he did it. Under Virginia law, his guilty plea didn't qualify for the death penalty. Court psychologists testified that Zhu was legally sane and able to stand trial, but they also said mental health factors may have played a role. Both his mental state at the time and his guilty plea were later considered as mitigating factors in the case. In the end, the courts didn't treat it as a case of fully rational intent. On April 9, 2010, Judge Robert Turk sentenced Zhu Haiyang to life in prison without parole. At the end of the hearing, Zhu made a brief statement. He said he wanted to apologize and express remorse to the victim's family, Virginia Tech, and the Blacksburg community. And that's the case as it stands today. If you have any thoughts on this case, feel free to leave them in the comments below. Behind our story, The Truth Waits, I'm Leah. Thanks for watching. Take care and see you next time.